Welcome back. South Africa is hosting the International Forum of Terrorism Risk Insurance Pools Conference 2025 for the first time, bringing together global terrorism insurance bodies, governments, re-insurers and experts, with the theme being Global Risk Resilience, Harnessing Collaborative Power in a Shifting Global Landscape. This event plans to address urgent challenges such as geopolitical shifts, cyber threats and climate-related disasters. Our reporter Vanessa Poonah has more.
The South African Special Risk Insurance Association plays host for the first time today of the International Forum of Terrorism Risk Insurance Pools taking place here in Cape Town. I'm joined now by the CEO of SASRIA, Mr. Mpumi Ntikwe, to explain to us the importance of a conference of this kind and also what will be discussed with local as well as international delegates. Mr. Ntikwe, very warm good morning to you, sir. Let us start with International Forum of Terrorism Risk Insurance Tools. That's a mouthful. Yes, what exactly does this mean?
First and foremost, good morning, and thank you, Vanessa, for giving me this opportunity. The short version of it, we call it IFRIP. It's really an association of companies like SASRIA from all over the world. So we've got about 12 countries represented in this conference today, starting with countries like Australia, we've got the United Kingdom, Belgium, Germany, and even the United States of America. Companies like SASRIA from all over the world are born out of pain. There must have been a traumatic event that has happened in that particular country. If you have to reflect on SASRIA, we have formed post the 1976 civil unrest. If you go back to the US, they were formed post the September 11 terrorism attacks. So what generally happens when countries go through those traumatic events, the private sector insurance companies no longer have an appetite to insure risks like terrorism. And then it's up to the state to fill in that vacuum and provide that cover. So the companies that are here today, all of them are backed by their countries.
So we talk about terrorism, and you've made the example of the 9/11 attacks, for example. In a South African context, I think off camera just now you were talking about the KZN riots as an example.
Yes.
So when we talk about terrorism risk in the South African context, what are we dealing with?
Well, in the last, post our democracy in 1994, the terrorism risk in South Africa has diminished. Basically, we've had relatively very few terrorist acts that happen in South Africa, and the security system has been able to deal with it quite effectively. So we might feel that that risk no longer exists, but you have to look north of us. For instance, what's happening in northern Mozambique, and also we were concerned as SASRIA, as people who insure this type of risk, what is happening in the DRC. So the question is there a likelihood that what is happening north of us can filter into the South African system? We are fortunate we haven't had a terrorism attack, but if we were to go back before our freedom, and when SASRIA was formed in 1976, the people who most South Africans regarded as freedom fighters, the government of the day that time regarded them as terrorists. And basically when there were bombings that will have happened in the pursuit of freedom, the company like SASRIA will cover those damages. SASRIA has since evolved not to just cover terrorism, we cover civil unrest, protest, labor unrest. Let me give you something that might not occur to South Africans. We've had situations with university students where NSFAS does not pay their monies on time or their accommodation. They protest and they do damage to university property. We cover those damages and we will pay for that event. During the July 2021, we had 10 days of protests happening mainly in KwaZulu-Natal. The cost to the South African economy was 50 billion rands. As SASRIA, we paid 32 billion rands of those losses. So if you do not have a vehicle like SASRIA, it means you won't have a company that will pay for those damages quick enough so that these businesses can resume. If the business don't resume, it means that our high unemployment will go even higher.